Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Guy on Board Game Geek, bringing you another play session of a game that you've seen on my table before, though not in this version. This is Zombicide Season 3 Rue Morgue, and we're going to do a play session of that will take us through an entire scenario. I have, and maybe I think at the end of this series I'm going to show you what I have in Zombicide stuff. I have more Zombicide stuff than you can shake a stick at. Every season that has been released with tons of stuff. And this one's no different, though, because of some warehousing issues, they shipped out the main box for Rue Morgue early before the rest of the Kickstarter components were done and complete, which is fine by my book. But what I thought I'd do in this playthrough is only use the Rue Morgue components, so I thought about getting the skull out of my Toxic City Mall. There's a start player marker and things like that, but I'm not going to do that. Everything in here is going to be purely from the Rue Morgue main box. Remember that Rue Morgue can be a standalone game. It can also be an expansion to the other two main boxes of Zombicide, and it can also be enhanced by Zombicide Toxic City Mall currently. And then when all the Kickstarter stuff for this is released, it'll also have Angry Neighbors. Anyway, like I said, so much stuff, it's unreal. But let's get into it. I want to tell you about our scenario, our characters, and some of the differences that you're going to see in Rue Morgue compared to the other Zombicide games. First things first, we're going to look at the scenario that we're going to be playing. This is a 6-survivor scenario. It's an easy one. It's supposed to take about 60 minutes. It's called Gas Run. It says we need a generous fuel reserve if we want to explore the surrounding cities. We found a helicopter at a clinic. It seems disabled, and we can't access it right now. The door is firmly locked. As far as we can see, someone was living here and put up an epic gunfight before leaving, or falling. Zombies are still roaming around as we explore the area for clues. Wait, Kathy located the survivor's last stand. It's just across the street in a remote gun room. All we have to do is plunder the building and open the way to the helicopter. We could even find a few useful things the guys used to own. If we're quick enough, we can do everything before the zombies overrun us. I pray they had batteries. Listening to some music would feel like heaven. So that is the story behind our scenario, and this is our scenario map. The objective in this is simple. We're to siphon the helicopter's gas tanks. You win the game when all starting survivors are in the exit zone during the end phase. The exit zone for us here is the helicopter. Now, in some scenarios, you can actually fly the helicopter, but in this one, you can't. It's just there. We have to open the clinic's blue door, and that is, of course, typical of a Zombicide scenario. The blue door is extremely far away from the area that we have to go into. But let's talk about some things that are different in Zombicide Season 3 Rue Morgue, and for that I'm going to flash to the board and we're going to take a look at some stuff. First off, I'd like to point out a couple of the spawn points. You can see one way over here, and then I got two right in front of you here. You notice that they now have large number tokens on them. Well, depending on how many survivors you're playing, we're going to be playing the baseline of 6, which, by the way, is tough in a solo playthrough, so you'll have to bear with me. I am destined to make some mistakes in this, just due to the sheer volume of characters that we have to run. But you're going to roll, in this case, we're going to roll 4 dice. And that is where and for each number we roll, it corresponds with the spawn point. That's the zone that's going to spawn. So instead of having one spawn in each location, you could literally have multiple spawns in one area. Most likely this one here with the 4 to 5 or the 2 to 3, because there's 2 numbers there. But you know, if you get unlucky, you could have a bunch spawn right on top of where you're at. So that is a change to the rules of Zombicide, is this rolling system for the spawn points. The other thing that's different is you get teams. So I've divided our group into 2 teams. Right here I have Team 1. It's got Dan, who's an ex-firefighter, it looks like. He's got a life-saving ability. Kathy, and a big guy named Bear. That's going to be Team 1. Now, why is that important? Because teams can actually do special things. They get special team cards. Here are the team cards that you get, and you get to choose 2, and you can use these during your turn as a free action. You can get move and charge. It says the team action is 1 free move action, and the charge is 1 free move action optional, then 1 free melee action in a zone containing zombies or rival team members. So now our team is not going to be going against each other. We're not going to be trying to. We are definitely working together. But that is a change to the system that now we have. I didn't have to. I could have left that whole thing out and just had 1 team, but I decided to split them up into 2 groups. They'll remain mostly together during the play session. And one of the reasons they stay together is it gives them their team ability. But let's look at the other team real quick. So the other team consists here of Parker, who is a medic and a helicopter pilot. Now, I probably would have moved them into different teams and maybe put Travis in the other team if we actually needed a helicopter pilot. But it doesn't really matter. Then I have Travis here. He's got Reaper Combat, which is something that's in here that you'll see during gameplay. And then Joe, the Scavenger. And then they took Move and Shoot because they seem to be more of a ranged, focused group of characters than the other ones. So they took the team abilities, Move and Shoot. And so again, that's something else that's different. Then, of course, lastly, the biggest difference is the zombies. Basically, in the story, this is like the zombie apocalypse has been going on for a while now. Not only are the players and characters better equipped mentally to deal with it, and that's one of the reasons they have these team advantages, but the other thing is the zombies have enhanced as well and changed over time. So we have these things called skinners. Okay, now as you can see, the Skinner walkers, they're the most common. They only take 1 point of damage. And just like a normal zombie, they take 1 point of damage. They're least valuable, and they provide 1 experience point. The crawlers, however, they're last to be in priority order. Now, what happens how do you get a crawler? Well, you can get them from the cards, but there's also another way to get them from having Skinner zombies killed, and we'll talk about, or destroyed. We'll talk about this over the gameplay. Then there's the fatty and the runner, and Skinners are theoretically a little bit nastier than the regular Zombicide zombies, even though I don't think they're that much. I don't think it's that big a deal, but still, it will be cool to see how the Skinners interact during this gameplay session. There's some other things that are different, like the fact you can't actually use the helicopter, just not in this scenario. And there's, of course, new weapons and stuff, etc., etc. And they do have their zombivore sides on the other side. I won't be playing with the zombivores because in just getting the base game, I do not have their zombivore miniatures. However, the game did start with a lot of characters. I think there's 12 of them. Anyway, it's pretty cool. So we're going to get, based on that, I don't want to spend much more time. You guys got to get the thing. The other thing that you won't see in this scenario that does come with the game, or all the hospital special effects, these tents, these hospital tents will not be in this scenario, and the hospital beds. I think there's only 1 clinic bed in this scenario, so we might see something pop out of one of these blue hospital beds, and I'll show you what that is right now. It's this room up here at the top of the screen. That's a clinic room where there is a hospital bed there. The hallways, the corridors in between the rooms count to the same as hallway or alleyways in the regular Zombicide game. Now, in this scenario, we do have 3 objectives that are worth 5 points. Only one of them is not on our way to get the blue door open. So we can kind of go out of our way to get the one. Of course, all the other same rules apply. So when we crack open a door, it'll populate the whole building, etc., etc. So still, it's going to be an awful lot of fun. So let's get right to it. Again, I will quickly introduce the characters as we play. I'll put their character sheets up on the screen, and you'll be able to see what they look like. Now, in this scenario, that in this game, the little difference is you do start with some different starting equipment: a crowbar, a bow, and a fire axe. It's kind of interesting. I think it's wise that bow would be a prevalent item because it has much more easily replenishable ammunition. So, you know, in the real zombie apocalypse, that would make a lot of sense. Anyway, let's get started with our game session, and I'll get one turn knocked out in this session, and then we will continue on from there and see if we can overcome this. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be pretty tough. A game of Rue Morgue, by the way, it plays just like a regular Zombicide game does. So we have our player's turn, then we have our zombies phase, then end phase, and it has a targeting priority chart here for just Rue Morgue, though there is a larger one inside that shows the targeting priority for all of the zombies in the game. And the same things apply with noise tokens, etc., etc. Searching, reorganizing inventory, etc. All that stuff has the same effect. Now, there is something. Hospital rooms cannot be searched. Only certain rooms can. There's a locker room that can be searched, but that only applies to the clinic on this board, which is where the helicopter is. All of the other buildings are basically office buildings. They're not hospital buildings, so we can search those, which is going to lead us to the start of our scenario. Now, of course, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the A team, which is Bear, Kathy, and Dan, and we'll start our team with Dan, who is the big guy with the axe right in front there. Okay, typical to the start of a Zombicide session, you know, the first thing we always have to do is search, right? So Bear, I'm sorry, I said the guy with the axe, but it's actually this miniature here. This is Bear with the big pipe in his hand. He's currently carrying a crowbar, and the door leads out into the street that they're going into stands open. So for his first of his 3 actions, he is going to search. And what did he find immediately? The first thing he pulls out is a chainsaw, which he will equip. That dastardly Bear is now running around with a chainsaw. Now he has the special ability, if you note on his character sheet, called Shove. It allows him to push zombies out of his zone that he's in. I think this can be a very useful ability in this. Anyway, he's going to then take his second action to move into the street, and we might as well get this party started and blow open this door right here with his... well, the crowbar doesn't cause any noise, so right now he would only have one noise on him, which is himself. And so I think he's going to use the crowbar to pop open this door. But that means we're going to have to immediately populate all of the spaces with zombies. So let's do that. That means we're going to populate this entire building. It's going to be a waiting zombie fest right off the bat. To start with, I'm just going to put the spawn card into the zone. Now, keep in mind that we are only spawning at the basic level. Nobody has any experience points yet. So we're going to spawn this is the symbol for the Skinner right here. Now, why is that important? Because you could literally mix all the different zombie types together. Regular zombies, Skinner zombies, berserker zombies, toxic zombies, and then it would spawn different kinds. But we're just using this game. So in this hospital area, there are only Skinners. So that zone there is going to get a regular Skinner walker. Oh, nice. No extra activation. That's a good one. So that's nothing in that room. Next up, blue bed card. Each blue bed on occupied. Each on an occupied tile. So there's only one blue bed. There's nobody on the occupied tile. So we get lucky again, and there's nothing in there. What else do we get? Okay, just another Walker Skinner in there. Just one. So far, we have been blessed. Now we're going to be moving up the board just a little bit, so I'm going to pan up so you can see that. Next up, man, just one more, and we're getting lucky. Now remember, that one of the reasons they're giving us lower numbers on these is because when you kill them, if I kill one and roll a 1 on one of my other combat dice, I'm going to spawn a crawler. So anyway, we get another walker in this room over here. 2 walkers in this back room with that objective. And in the last room, 1 more walker. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to populate the rooms, and then we'll come right back. Okay, our area is populated now, and that is going to end Bear's turn as he stands there peering into a darkened room, but he can hear the moaning of Skinner zombies somewhere in the dark building ahead of him. Next up will be Kathy. Now, Kathy, she's got the sprint ability, so let's take a look at that and see, because that obviously is probably going to help her move. Of course, her the first thing she's going to do, which we will always do in a scenario where we're standing in an empty room, is search. And remember, each character can search 1 time. So sprint, it means that the survivor can use this skill once during each of his activations. Spend 1 move action with the survivor. He may move 1, 2, or 3 zones instead of 1. So she's relatively quick. So the first thing she's going to do, and now remember, she's got the bow, so it wouldn't hurt for her to move into the room, but she is going to search. So her search card is, let me get the deck out. Now I'm pretty sure I shuffled it up, but just in case, since I drew a chainsaw right off the top, I'm going to shuffle a little bit more again. And a pistol. Okay, so she's got a bow and a pistol. I like the bow better. It's silent, and it has a better chance to hit. The bow is a 4+, and the bow is a 3+ with 1 damage, and the pistol is a 4+ with 1 damage, and it makes noise. So with that, she is going to then take for her second action a sprint, which means she's going to, this is her here, just to give you a little look at her figure. She's got a knife and a sword in her hand, but she's carrying a bow right now. She's going to move here, then here with her sprint action, and then we're going to go to the dice bowl because she is going to shoot her bow into this room and try and kill that zombie. Okay, here we go. Boom, she missed with a 2. So she shot a bow into that room and missed with her third action. Good thing is it doesn't make any noise to shoot the bow, so she doesn't attract any special attention other than the fact she's in line of sight for a few zombies. Next we have the last survivor on this team. This is Dan. Here's Dan's figure right here. Show it to you. Pretty cool. He's like a fireman. He's got the lifesaver ability, so he's a good guy to have around. He's got a fire axe, so I think that what we're going to do with him is he's in this room. He's going to move 1, 2, 3. Well, that could be dangerous because we don't want to be shooting into rooms, but he does have a fire axe. Fire axe is not a bad, it does 2 points of damage. I think he'll hang back. He's going to hang back here with her just to make sure everything's safe. So for his third action, actually, he will search because he's in a room bereft of zombies. So he's going to search that room, and he finds a box of ammo. It says, as long as this card is in your inventory, you may re-roll all ranged actions. That's pretty nice, but he doesn't have any ranged actions right now. We'll put that in his inventory, and he'll have that around. So now, again, I do have both the team move and team charge abilities here for them, but I think I don't see we're strategically positioned. I don't know that it's going to be worth using that. It does give a free move action and then a free melee combat action. We could have everybody pile into this room. Well, at least 2 of them pile into that room and maybe take that zombie out and get that objective. And then that would put our big guy Bear in that room using our charge action. Because it does give a free melee attack. Let's do that. Let's just try this out and see how it goes. This is a free team action. We get to do 1. So they're both going, well, at least he's going to go into here. She might as well not. She has a ranged weapon anyway. And then he'll move into here. Got some protection going on, and he gets a free swing with. Now, if he fails, however, that could be bad. Because if he fails his free melee attack, which needs a 4+, he could take a wound. Maybe that's not so worth it. Yeah, I'm starting to rethink this. I think we're not going to do that. I think we'll use the move, the team move, to have them all gather right here. I think that'll work out well. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to go on to the other team, starting with Parker. Okay, once again, we're on this with the same group here. This is Parker. She's pretty cool. You can see her card on screen now. I was debating on taking the time to update their card every time they get new items and stuff like that, and I might do that in between sessions, but I don't think I'm going to do it for every time they get an upgrade to their card. I'll remind you of what they have, and then in between sessions I'll reshoot the cards for the characters, and so I can use those in the next session. Anyway, Parker's first action is of course going to be able to search this room. She gets a sword. That is lovely. So she's got a fire axe and a sword. The sword does 3 dice with a 4 to hit. That's pretty good. So that goes on her stuff. That's her first move. Her second move is to go to here, and her third move will be to go to here. And then next up we have Travis. Travis is also in that room, and he is going to then search as a zombie pops up on his first search card. Wow, that's the first time that's happened. Let me grab us a zombie here, and a zombie has now popped up in there with Travis. Travis has a bow. He can shoot it, but I don't know. I got to look it up and see if bows are actually subject. It does +1 damage for each 6 on the damage roll, but I assume it's archery, so I'm going to assume that he cannot attack with that bow. And by the way, I didn't show you his miniature. I won't do it every time, but I'll show you the first time. This is Travis. I think Travis then, that was his first action, so his second action and third action are going to be to disengage and move out into the street, leaving Joe with the crowbar by himself in there. But now it's sad because Joe actually has the ability to scavenge, which would be beneficial right now. But as we move to Joe's action, which will be right now, we're going to have to attack that zombie. So let's go to the dice bowl. So Joe's got 1 crowbar, I mean he's going to get 1 die. Now these are the orange dice that come in this box, but as you know, there are different dice that come in the other ones with different pips on them, and this is the 1 and this is the 6. So let's roll and see what we get. We got a 1 on his first action, so he missed. We got a 4 on his second action, so he hit and killed the first Skinner zombie of the game. Now, let's see. He did roll a 1. I got to look that up. I guess if it's in the same activation turn, that will then become a crawler. Let me look that up and see, because if you roll a 1 and a 6, then that's what happens. But I'm going to double check that, and we might have just cut a zombie in half for it to still be coming after us. So actually, I think we're okay. The way it reads is you get it's for every 1 you roll on the attack roll, and the examples it gives are for items like this chainsaw that actually rolls 5 dice. And if you rolled a 1 and also killed a zombie, then it would turn into a crawler. So I believe we simply eliminated that zombie, and that gives Joe a point of experience points. It did take 2 of his actions, so he's only got 1 left. But since his other 2 folks are not too far away, he is going to spend his time searching. And for him now, he gets 2 searches, so we're going to pull 2 cards for him and see what he gets. So he got a sawed-off shotgun and a sword. Now, I got to look at his ability. I think he only gets to keep 1 of them, but let me check. Take it back. I was reading the wrong ability. His ability allows him to search in any zone, even streets. That's what his scavenger ability is. Anyway, I took the top card he actually pulled was this sawed-off shotgun. So he now has a sawed-off shotgun equipped, and I just shuffled the sword back into the deck. And that is going to end all of our character actions. Now we're going to get to see something different with the spawn points, and that is going to be to roll our spawn dice, because that'll be the next thing that happens. Oh wait, actually first we do our zombie moves. So let's go to the board and see what goes on there. For those of you that don't know the Zombicide rules, the actual first thing zombies do is attack. And why is that important in that order? Because they only get to attack you if they're already in the area you're in, unless they're a runner, which you might see later, because runners get 2 activations during a turn. But in normal circumstances, they already have to be in your zone and still standing, which is why it was so important for Joe to kill the zombie that was in his space. But we are going to move some zombies. So this guy here is going to move into the zone with all these players. Good thing there's a whole bunch of them there to take him out. Then this one up here is going to come through this doorway here and into this room. And let's see, let me pan up just a little bit so you can see the rest of them. Okay, this one's going to come here, this one's going to come up here, these 2 will come here, and that one will come here. And that's all the ones that are in the building. But now we get to go to the dice bowl and spawn. There's nothing else that's going to come from that other than the movement of those zombies. Now remember, our first objective is way up here, and the only way we can get to it is through this building, though we can come back out through that door depending on how bad things are. There's this door here and that door there. I'm not going to open them yet because any zombies that come out in the street will not be able to get to us, which is a good thing. So right now they'd go here because of all the noise it's taking. They hear the noise in that room, but they wouldn't be able to get to us. So they'd pile up in this door. Okay, and then let's continue on with our spawns. Now, as you know, I am not only a videographer of these games and do these game sessions, but I'm also a huge fan of the other people that do them. It's what got me started. There's a gentleman that, if you go through my subscribers list or look online, his name is Darren Baker. He's done tons of great Zombicide videos as well. And I noticed that he had I don't remember where he got it from. I don't know if he made it up or found it, but he had a house rule mechanic about rolling dice for the zombies locations. Now that was made mainly for having fewer characters than the 6, but anyway, in this case, you still do that, and I think they've adopted that rule for this. I don't know if was made from officials or anything else, but it works. So we're going to roll 4 dice, and those are the locations which with the zombies will come out. So right now we got, wow, we got 2 3s, a 4, and a 5. So let's go and spawn those locations. So this is where it gets interesting, because as you can see, our 2 3s here are going to have zombies come out right on top of our guys. So let's populate some zombies there. Wow, no extra activation. That's the second one of those we got. That's awesome. And then 2 zombies. So we're going to get 2 walkers out there. Now let's go to we rolled a 4 and a 5 on the other one, which is the zone right across from it, right here. And we're going to populate 2. Uh-oh. Oh no, are you kidding me? Right off the bat. That is a... and whew, nothing but a toxic abomination, or a Skinner abomination. So now how do I know that? Well, you see this symbol here, looks like you see the abomination symbol. That's about the worst card we could have pulled, I think. So at least he's out early. He's going to chase us all over the board, and he can get through the doors, I believe. I'll have to look. And this one has some nasty abilities. We have absolutely no way to deal with him right now. So this is going to be a bad start. Yep, so we did, on the very first turn, spawn this fine fellow, the toughest creature in the game. He is so impervious to damage, he can only be killed by a Molotov cocktail. So, Joe needs to continue to search everywhere he goes until we find a bottle of water and a bottle, I'm sorry, and gasoline, so we can make a Molotov cocktail and kill this thing. Now, it doesn't look like I think it's the Berserker ones I'm remembering from the other games, can burst through doors. And this one, it doesn't say he can. He does have a different ability. It's the grab and reach thing, where you can pull guys over barricades and stuff like that. But he does do a lot of damage when he attacks. Yeah, so it's going to be rough. Anyway, yeah, he's going to be a nasty one, but at least it's going to take him a little bit to get to us, because we have this building secure for the moment. And as we head down further, he'll start heading down that way. We might want to keep a bunch of racket down at the far end, so he stays down there, and then we can, or actually down toward this end, so he can come down here. We can get across when we need to the other building. One can only hope, but we got a ways to go. So anyway, guys, that is the end of the actual session for today. And I don't think this didn't look like a very long scenario, which I'm hoping it's not. It says 60 minutes. I'm hoping that's about what it is, even though, of course, I'm doing a lot more explaining, etc., etc. But thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy this playthrough session of Zombicide Season 3 Rue Morgue for your Christmas holiday experience. And have a lot of fun. I'll talk to you next time.